Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, we're thankful you're here with us. Thanks for joining us daily, those of you that do. And if you haven't, check us out every day. Anyhow, we're looking at 50 plus people that have been confirmed from the Old Testament in archaeology. And so this is on biblicalarchaeology.org. This is one of the resources I use in our Biblical Archaeology Today podcast with Steve Waldron, which you can listen to on Spotify and some other places as well. And I really like this website. And so this is by Professor Lawrence Mayatuck, and I probably mispronounced that, from Purdue University. And he has compiled an outstanding list of over 50 Old Testament people that have been confirmed in archaeology. Now, we're going to go through the list, but I also want to say this. At the end, he's got, some people that are almost confirmed, and he just uses the highest standards of confirmation, and almost every single one of those, I would say, if you looked at the evidence fairly, yeah, they're confirmed as well. And then one that's one of the newer ones that I couldn't find on this list, it's Jerubbaal, which is also Gideon. They found a jar handle with Jerubbaal's name on it from the time period of Gideon. Now, nobody's saying it was actually Gideon's jar that he had, even though it is fascinating with the Gideon story and the jars there in Judges 5 and 6 and 7, or 6 and 7 and 8. But anyhow, it does show that that name was in currency at that time. So let's get started with Professor Mayatuck, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, from Purdue University, but he has done an outstanding service here. And we'll throw in some other things from that I've learned over the years as well. So the first is Egyptian people that are mentioned in Scripture that have been confirmed in archaeology is Shishak. He's got a wonderful thing where he just lists them, and then at the end, he's got like references to them where they're listed. He's listed in numerous places. He's also known as Shishak, and I always want to talk about the Shishak redemption. Got several podcasts on him as well. And then this is Pharaoh, found in 2 Corinthians 17:4. Again, I love how the Bible has these play on words like let the redeemed of the Lord say so. No, I'm just joking. The wilderness of sin. You've got lots of play on words there. But the Egyptian Pharaoh, K.A. Kitchen mentions that he's found Tirhakah, that ruled from 690 to 664 BC, found in 2 Kings 19:9 and other places. He is in a few places. Pharaoh Necho, 610 to 595, found in 2 Chronicles 35:20, etc. He has been found in archaeology. When I say he's been found, it's either an inscription or something. We don't really have time to read all of these. But Pharaoh Hafra, also known as Apries or Wahapri, he was Pharaoh from 589 to 570. He's mentioned in Jeremiah 44:30. He's been found. I'll just read you a sample of what he's got on here. An Egyptian inscription, such as the one describing his being buried by a successor, Ahmose II, Masis II, with reflections in Babylonian inscriptions recording Nebuchadnezzar's defeat of Hophra in 572 and replacing with the throne of Egypt with the general Amasis, who later rebelled against Babylonia and was suppressed. And then just keeps going on and on about the British Museum. So he's just known at several places. That's just an example of some of the resources he used. And then from Moab, you have Mesha, the king, in the Mesha inscription, or the Mesha stele. Aram, Damascus, you have Hadadezer, the king, from 844 to 842. And Assyrian inscriptions of Shalmaneser III. And also, I am convinced, in the Melkart stele. And then number 8 is Ben-Hadad, son of Hadadezer, who served as co-regent from 844 to 842 in the Melkart stele. And then it just continues on. Hazael, king, from 844 to 842. And it lists the places where he is mentioned in archaeology. Ben-Hadad, son of Hazael, king, early 8th century. been found in archaeology. Reason from the mid 8th century to 732 BC. May have been saying AD, I meant BC. And he's got that in the inscriptions of Tiglath-Pileser III, king of Assyria. And then inscriptions Tiglath-Pileser III refer to Reason several times, Reason of Damascus. Then it tells where. And then the northern kingdom of Israel. Let's look at some of those that have been found. Omri, the king, he's all over the place. As a matter of fact, the northern kingdom was known as the House of Omri long after he died. Ahab, the king, mentioned as well. So is Jezebel, as a matter of fact. Jehu, the king, Joash, or Jehoash, ruled from 805 to 790 in the Tel al-Rama inscription. Jeroboam II, the king, from 790 to 750, 749, in the seal of his royal servant Shema, discovered at Megiddo. Menahem, the king, in the Kala annals of Tiglath-Pileser III. Pekah, the king, in the inscriptions of Tiglath-Pileser III. Among various references to Pekah, the most explicit concerns the replacement of Pekah in summary inscription 4. Hoshea, the king. And then Sanballat, governor of Samaria under Persian rule in the mid-5th century, Nehemiah 2:10. So in a letter among the papyri from the Jewish community at Elephantine in Egypt. And also the reference to Ballat, most likely Sanballat, in Wadi Dalaya. He's also mentioned there as well. And so in the southern kingdom of Judah, David, multiple places. Of course, the 3 inscriptions. It talks about Tel Dan inscription, then the Mesha inscription, and then an Egyptian, means a region in the Negev called the Heights of David. And so this is Kenneth Kitchen again, very prominent archaeologist. Number 22 of the 50-plus people confirmed from the Old Testament in archaeology is Uzziah in the inscribed stone seals of 2 of his royal servants. There's also a very famous that quite possibly is a forgery as well. Ahaz, or Jehoahaz, the king, Tiglath the third summary inscription 7, reverse line. Hezekiah the king is mentioned multiple times in archaeology. There's actually, see this online article by the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, which is a very good conservative scholarship for the most part, the Mozars and all of this. Impression of King Hezekiah royal seal discovered in the Ophel excavation south of Temple Mount, Jerusalem. And then Manasseh, the evil king, 697, 696 to 642, 641, in the inscriptions of the Assyrian kings, Esarhaddon and Ashurbanipal. Manasseh, king of Judah. Hilkiah, the high priest, during Josiah's reign, has been found in archaeology. Evidence has been found in archaeology. Shaphan, scribe, during Josiah's reign, again has been found. Evidence. Azariah, high priest, during Josiah's reign. Gemariah, official, during Jehoiakim's reign, 609 to 598. Evidence has been found. Jehoiakim, or Jeconiah, also Coniah, in 4 Babylonian administrative tablets. And isn't he the one that he is seen getting rations given to him in a good way? Shelemiah, the father of Jehucal, the official late 7th century, has been discovered much in, he's got a couple of paragraphs here. And then Pashur, father of Gedaliah, the official late 7th century, Jeremiah 38:1. Evidence has been found for him as well. Then, of course, in Assyria, tons. We've already mentioned some. Tiglath-Pileser III, which equals Pul, as well in the Bible. Shalmaneser V, also in archaeology, his name is Ulayah. The king, Sargon II, Sennacherib, Adremelech, Esarhaddon, all kings of Assyria, all found conclusively in archaeology. All of these would be no doubt. Merodach-Baladan, also known as Marduk-Apla-Iddina, a king, Babylonian. Nebuchadnezzar II, Nebu-Sarsekim, chief official of Nebuchadnezzar. Nergal-Sharezer, I did want to back up about Nebuchadnezzar. Like, they found 15 million bricks with his name on them, so he's pretty conclusively found. Nergal-Sharezer, also Nergal-Sharsu, the Sin Megar, lot of different names, and he's on Nebuchadnezzar II's prism. Nebuzaradan, found in Jeremiah, 2 Kings 25, in the Babylonian cuneiform inscription known as Nebuchadnezzar II's prism. Evil Merodach, also known in archaeology as Awel Marduk or Amel Marduk, in various inscriptions. And then Belshazzar, the handwriting on the wall, Daniel 5, is it? In Babylonian administrative documents and the verse account. Now, Persia. There's Old Testament personages from Persia: Cyrus II, Darius I, Tatnai, provincial governor of Trans-Euphrates, late 6th to early 5th century, Ezra 5:3, Xerxes or Ahasuerus, 486 to 465. This would be Esther's husband. And Artaxerxes, and some say that would be Esther's husband. There's a debate there, but most would say it's Ahasuerus. Artaxerxes Longimanus, in various inscriptions, including his own, and he would be the Persian king of Nehemiah, basically. And then Darius, also in Nehemiah, various inscriptions, including his own dates and documents for the time of his reign. Now, I just like this. It's got in quotation marks, almost real people, reasonable but uncertain. I've already mentioned like Jezebel. I've already mentioned Gideon. That's not mentioned on here. Balaam, the son of Beor, I would say 100% that he has been discovered at Ter Del Allah. I think it's there. Baalis, king of the Ammonites, northern Arabia. Geshem, the Arabian. Aramaic inscription on a silver bowl discovered at Tel al-Mushta in Egypt. Southern kingdom of Judah, Hezer. Most likely, yes, he has been found. Jacob or Yakim, Maaziah. Inscription is in Aramaic. It goes into that. He was in the priestly division in the First Temple, founding father of priestly division, First Temple in Jerusalem, early 10th century. And Isaiah the prophet, that was a big one. It's kind of more recent, in a bulle. And so I'll read you just a little bit of what he says, because it's very lengthy on his. Although these facts may seem enough to make an identification of the prophet Isaiah, the case is not settled. So, but again, it's tons of information. Shebna, the overseer of the palace, 726 to 696. Just like it says in the Bible talks about him, and they found what the Bible talks about him. Hananiah and his father Azar from Gibeon. A lot of discussion there. Gedaliah, the governor, son of Ahikam, 585, Bulla from Tel Ed Duar, ancient Lachish, and Jaazaniah. Now, it also leaves out the famous Baruch bulle, couple of Baruch bulles, if I'm not mistaken, one with actually his thumbprint on there. That's not even mentioned. So you can see people from Gideon's time forward are mentioned. Now, these are Old Testament people. This does not go into the evidence of Old Testament cities as well. And tons of Old Testament cities have been discovered. This is the reason people say they go on archaeology discoveries with a Bible in one hand and a shovel in the other hand, because the Bible is so rich in these things. And there's actually many more than these that are quite possible, like the Pharaoh of the Exodus, and even some would say maybe Melchizedek's name has been found. Just several. But these are basically slam dunks that you can say the Old Testament is a historical document, because we went over, 60 plus people here today. So God bless. Check out our other videos. Check out our Biblical Archaeology Today podcast, and we'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.